All right. So when you jump into the app, you will land on the home screen. The home screen will have just a context for your account. So what information you have loaded in at the time for your character, your party, adventure, that sort of thing. It also will be where you track your badges and certs. So if you're doing organized play, you can track what certifications you have, or certificates, I guess is the proper term.
Yeah, I think people use the word certs. Yeah.
And then you can will also be able to earn badges for completing adventures. So you finish the Tyranny of Dragons, you get the Tyranny of Dragons badge.
Right.
There's also a feed from our blog and the D&D news site. So we approached designing this app from 3 different angles, one for players, for DMs, and for Forge content creators. So the players would live mainly under the character tab. Click over to characters. If I want to create a character, bring down the drop down, hit new. And it'll launch directly into a step-by-step character creation process.
Sure. I don't know if this is visible on the camera, but what we have here is a number of races with a short description, and I assume this sort of scrolls sideways like this.
Yeah.
Different races, cool.
Yeah. And this is going to be one of 3 ways to create a character. This is the way sort of denoted in the player's handbook, but we also will have a sort of new player introductory character creation process. Answer a series of survey questions and it'll create an archetype character for you. Questions like, you're standing at a bridge, there's a troll in your way, what do? Do you sneak by it? Do you attack
So it
it?
takes you through one of those sort of little choose your own adventure type things. How detailed does that process get?
Right now it's not very detailed. I mean, it's about as detailed as one of those Game of Thrones surveys online. What Game of Thrones character are you?
Yeah,
So it's not, I think as we go along we'll find something a little bit more.
Sure. So what does it do? Does it come up with a pre-gen at the end? Or?
Yes, yeah. It'll come up with a pre-gen, something simple and easy to sort of get you started. The third way to create a character will be sort of a keyword random generated, sort of a character sheet generator. So you can identify specific characteristics you want your character to have. Like, I want a really strong barbarian that's level 5.
Right.
Then it'll take those parameters and generate a character, fill in the blanks for you, and create a character sheet on the fly.
So basically, whatever your sort of level of expertise or knowledge about D&D, you can come along to this and you can have a character fairly quickly.
Yes, yeah. You can just press a button and it's done.
I'm going to test that with my mother.
So the step-by-step process, you start by choosing a race. You can scroll through to find the race that you want. The information in character creation is linked back to the player's handbook itself, so you can actually tap on something and it'll go back to our ebook platform, and you can flip through and read about what a halfling is if you need to.
So that just goes straight to the page in a book?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, you know, if you don't necessarily want to do that, it does have some small description here. We'll tap on it, hit next. Same thing for classes. You can scroll through, choose which one you want. So I might choose, let's do a ranger. Hit next. Now I get to roll up ability scores. There are 3 ways to do it. The first way is you can just take the wizard standard array, which shows by default.
Yeah.
You can roll virtual dice, or you can tap on it and enter a manual number if you like to roll your physical dice. So, and also a note is that it shows you suggestions based on your previous choices. So because I chose, what did I choose? High elf?
Ranger.
High elf, yeah.
Yeah.
First, it says first make dexterity your highest ability score, followed by wisdom. So now I'll just drag my numbers to the appropriate places. And there's my ability scores. So I can do it this way, or I also have the option to do a point buy system if I prefer to do it that way.
Does, I mean, presumably you can, when you finish this, you can print directly from the app or from the computer.
Yeah.
Does it know what method you used when you do so? So I think, is it Hero Lab or something like that? It does that just so that the DM can look at a character sheet and know you haven't cheated. So it kind of
Well, so there's, I'm not sure what you're asking.
So if I create a character and I choose to use, say, a point buy system, the character sheet will actually note what point buy system I use and how many points I've spent. So
Right.
the GM can come along and go, hey, wait a minute, you spent 25 points, don't
Right.
you? Or something
So,
like that.
so we've designed the app right now to be restricted within the rules of the player's handbook.
Right, okay.
So if you want to add some more flexibility around the system for like homebrew, that sort of thing, that's going to be coming with the customization
Right, cool. Yeah.
section of the app. Yeah. So I mean, in this case for point buy, it won't necessarily let you cheat, but later on, if you get to your character sheet, you can make manual adjustments as
Yeah.
you like. I'll hit next, and then we get to choose a background archetype. It'll land on the suggested archetype based on my class, but I don't have to choose that if I don't want to.
Scroll through those and just choose one.
Yeah, I'll take a charlatan. And then personality characteristics, I can choose what I want. I can roll random. This is also from the list in the player's handbook. Or I can write my own if I like. Hit next. Now this is the equipment choice. You can choose your starting equipment. Anything in here is tappable, so you can see what it is. Like if I don't know what's in the Dungeoneer's pack, it'll show me. It'll show me what's in there. And then it will also give me the option to take starting gold if I want to purchase all my equipment later. Next. Then I get to make sub choices. Some of the rules state, hey, you can choose one simple melee weapon, so choose that, accept, choose, okay. And then role-playing information, what's my name, gender, all that stuff. I don't have to put this in right away if I don't want to. There's no sort of information that depends on this as far as the rules are concerned. So now as a high elf, I get to make sub-choices based on my race, class, background choices that I made before. So as a high elf, I get to choose a cantrip, so I can tap on it to see what it does. Make my selection, hit next. Now I get to choose skill proficiencies. It shows me what I already have because of my background choice, but I'll just fill in the rest of them. Next. Then I get to choose starting languages. Now, it's not, a lot of this is not final art, but we're getting close. You can choose common, exotic, or you can make up a language of your own if you like. Yeah, out there. So this launches me directly into the character sheet itself. We designed the character sheet to be a series of panels that organizes relevant information in a certain way. And the reason we did it as a sort of panel setup was because we anticipated at some point being able to put it on your smartphone. Yeah. So we organized it by page so that, you know, one page has all your role-playing information, one page, you know, combat, spell casting, that sort of thing. But if you prefer to have your own layout of the character sheet, you can do a pinching motion, and it'll give you the whole sort of eagle-eye view of the layout, and then you can drag stuff around.
Oh, wow.
And
that's nifty. I like that.
And rearrange things the way you like. You can also change the sizing of boxes, stack them if you like.
So you can almost literally design your own character sheet there.
Yeah, exactly. And you can also hide things and show them if you like. So information on the character sheet is fully interactable. You can tap on something to see what it does, what it means. You can also tap on red text to edit it if you like. So as a ranger, it's beneficial for me to have light armor on. So if I go to the attributes box, I can tap equip. I can equip my leather armor. And now because I'm wearing that armor, my armor class jumps up from 13 to 14. And I can tap on my armor class to see the breakdown of how it calculates that value.
Do I need to be online to tap on stuff and call up information like that, or is that within the app itself?
So it actually downloads the book and all the information to you directly, locally to your device.
Cool.
It is a cloud-based service, so it hooks all of the content you've downloaded to your account, so wherever you log in, it'll be available.
Right.
But like I said, it does download directly to the device, so once it's there, it's there.
Cool. So if I'm stuck
That's
on a
all.
plane or something
Yeah.
and I have no connection, I can still
Yeah.
roll up a character.
I
Yeah.
did it this week. It works.
Yeah.
You do a lot of gaming on the phone.
I don't do a lot of gaming on the phone.
But you could now.
Yeah. On the, I mean, there will be some things that are not available, so like certain illustrations or video won't be available.
Right.
There are also the networking capabilities of the app that I'll talk about that won't necessarily be available without Wi-Fi.
Sure.
So, and then another place where information is interrelated is if you want to change your ability scores. I just jumped my dexterity up to 20. It'll boost my saving throw bonus for dexterity.
So that will cascade throughout the character sheet wherever
Yeah.
it's needed.
And skill-based bonuses, that sort of thing. So if I want to level up, I would go to the level up panel, and I can do it either through experience points or just level up directly. And then I can start the process. And this is where I can choose to multi-class if I like. I can, and the character sheet will track for you. There are different spell casting abilities for different classes, and so it'll be sure to section off each class so that so you can track that.
And that walks you through the process of
Yeah.
choosing a new class and level.
So I'll just choose Ranger again, just for time, and I get to roll my ability scores there. Choose a fighting style for my Ranger, choose weapon. Now, because I'm a second level Ranger, I get to choose a couple spells. Okay, it'll summarize what I've earned as part of this level up. And now, my spells have populated in the spell casting boxes. So I can tap on a spell, read all about it, and cast it as I like. I also have the ability to track spell casting through spell slots. If I'm in combat and I lose some health and cast some spells, and then I have the opportunity to take a rest, I have a long rest button that I can tap, and it'll reset everything in the character sheet that has
Of
it.
everything.
A lot of this is based on feedback we've gotten. Somebody 6 months ago said, "Hey, it would be really awesome, a long rest button."
Yeah,
So we were
yeah.
like, "Okay, that sounds like a great idea." The last part of this that we haven't implemented yet, but we're working on, is the ability to export your character sheet. And the way that we're planning on doing that is to be able to turn the device portrait mode.
Right.
And it will overlay with the standard 5th edition character sheet with all of your information in there, and then you can export that to a PDF file that you can print or whatever you want. So if I'm a DM, I would live mainly in the Adventures, Campaigns, and Parties tab of the app. So if I tap over to the Adventures tab, I'll choose an adventure that I'm running, and it'll bring up the book text. This is the book directly transposed from the physical adventure.
Right, okay.
Except it's been dynamically linked and organized for me to easily navigate.
Sure. Okay. This isn't abridged or anything, it's the full text.
Yeah.
Right there on the tablet.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can, I have a table of contents here. I can jump around to different sections. You can see there are blue words in here. Those are linked. So if there's information in here that, if I need to jump around quickly, if my players ask me something about the history of a place,
Sure.
like the Forlorn Hills, for example, I can tap on that. And it'll bring up contextual information about the Forlorn Hills. And this is like a campaign setting location. So the Forlorn Hills is not necessarily, the description's not going to be in the adventure text. The text itself also updates what's showing in the tracker panels. So depending on where I am in the adventure, the tracker panels will show different information. So I'm in the town of Julkin. The map panel that I can pull out
that's nice.
will show
Yeah.
you the map of Julkin, and I can zoom in. Eventually, we're looking at being able to share sections of maps to your players. You can also jump to different maps to refer if you need to. There's also the tracker panel, which you can pull out from the right side, and this has encounter information, combat information that you would need to know. So there are a bunch of goblins and wolves in this area. I can drop that down, show stat block information, any abilities they have. I can add or remove monsters as I like. And I also have the ability to go from encounter to encounter if I need to track other monsters in other places. This area on the right is not.
That was good.
This area is not fleshed out yet, but our plan here is to have all of your player characters as a DM in a list so that you can track them. You'll be able to see their status effects, their armor class, HP. They'll also be able to send you their initiatives, so they'll order themselves.
And that will update. So if a player's adjusts his character on his own tablet, that will update live on the gyms. Yeah.
So and that works through the party system. So as a DM, I can create a party, have my players join. They're connected so that I, as a DM, can look at their character sheets through the app if I want. I also have the ability to share certain information with them, so flavor text in the adventure. I can, if you have one of those players, it's a rogue, chaotic type, and they like to sneak around and take items for themselves, you can send them that magic ring without anybody else knowing. And you'll also be able to send messages back and forth to people secretly. So, let's see. I think that's a quick overview of the adventure area. The design of the campaign tab is very similar to this, except it just has campaign level information. Okay. You'll be able to take notes, campaign level map. The party system, that's where you send messages, all that stuff. The Forge, which we don't have in the app yet, is going to be where you can add macro level information like campaign setting, create an adventure, or you can go smaller, edit monsters, traps, treasure, any of those things. And we all are also looking at how to incorporate map building, homebrew rules, all the customization features that people want to run their own games.
I think you mentioned some possible monetization at some point as well the other day.
Yeah, so so the plan with the app is the app itself will be free to download. There will be free content, an adventure, and some character pre-gens that you can run with your group. As far as pricing, I can't yet go into specific detail around price points, but the way we're structuring it is trying to accommodate for sort of a range of different levels of interest. So, if you want to pay for content as you consume it at smaller price points along the way, that's available to you. Or if you want to buy a whole bundle and it'll download everything that we have, that's also available to you. We're also looking at subscription models as well. But the specifics will be able to.
But it sounds like there's going to be a range of different options for different people who like different kind of ways of consuming. Consuming.
Yep.
There'll be
content.
something for everyone.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
The library is going to be where you have your bookshelf. This is also where you will see all the content you can download.
Right.
Everything through 5th edition that Wizards releases will be available on the
Right, so I see
in the
you've got
form.
3 adventures on there.
Yeah.
I know you've got a player's handbook
Yeah.
and 2 adventures,
And you can tap on something and read it just like you would a normal book.
Sure, yeah. Okay.
And that's sort of the original intent behind our technology, is that we already have an ebook platform. So it's designed for you to be able to add notes and do the things that you could do in a normal paper book. So.
Did you mention there was going to be a web-based interface to this as well as an app?
Yeah, we are releasing the app on web, Android, and iOS.
Right, so anyone with a web browser should be able to access that just fine. Cool, okay.
And in theory, they could do it from their phone or their Windows Surface tablet.
Right.
It just might not look as optimized as it will
Sure.
for the iOS or Android
Right.
tablet.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to play a little adventure
Okay.
and see how it goes. And really to show you the interaction between the app, the DM, the player,
Right.
and the app.
Correct. I can't
And really the goal is to have us looking at this as often as we look at our notes
Mm.
or our book, rather than, it's not a video game experience.
Sure.
It really is supposed to be a companion to the
Yeah,
tabletop.
yeah. So it's not going to replace the social interaction.
Correct.
That's what you're saying. It's going to. Yeah.
It's going to get rid of the 45 minutes we spend looking at rules,
Right.
and let us get 45 minutes more of role playing in.
One thing you should note too is that you have a dice roller here.
Right.
You can drag stuff out. That's a D20, and then hit roll, and it'll show you.
Oh, right. Cool. Okay.
You can roll any number of dice that you want.
Right. Okay.
So the way a typical adventure would start, you've got your character, it's rolled up, ready to go. I've got my adventure ready to
Okay.
run. And I'm going to describe to you the first room. You're outside the Mines of Madness. There's an outhouse with a sign that says keep out, and this sort of glowing tunnel that you can go in. And after I've described it to you, I want you to be able to have that information.
Right.
So I can click on the description and click share, and that share is going to send the adventure information over to your character so you have it for future reference.
Okay.
I don't need to have you taking notes. We're just playing.
So this is this going to pop up, or is it?
That would
going
pop
to-
up on the adventure tab under the Mines of Madness after we've created our party.
Sure. Okay.
So the first thing I need you to do is make a perception check as you're looking around outside the mines.
Okay. How would I do this?
So you go to your character sheet,
Yeah.
and you would look under your abilities.
Should be
Your skills.
Skills found.
second
And-
page.
Perception. Got 'em? Yeah.
Right, so you can either roll the dice manually and tell me what the number is, or you can use the automated dice roller and roll your perception roll, adding in your bonus, and you can either share that with me, so I get it as a message on my party tab, or you can just tell me what your perception roll is. So
Okay.
the idea is that for some things, I'm going to ask you for a secret roll. I can hit the party tab, type in my message to you,
Right.
say, give me a perception roll, don't tell anyone else about it.
Sure.
You would make the roll very silently and send it back
And
to
you
me.
would get that
I
information.
would get
back.
that information back, no one else would know what's
Sure.
going on.
And then you could then share secret information with me, and nobody else would know this has happened.
Correct.
Great.
Now, if I need to know what your perception is without even you knowing it, because you're in my party as a dungeon master, I can click on my character tab, slide down, see your character sheet.
And then you could roll a perception check
And then
without
I
even
can
me
roll the
knowing that
perception
you've done that.
without you knowing it.
Okay.
Now, I can't make any changes to your character sheet, but I can look at it and see what you're doing.
Right, okay.
I can also check to see why you're rolling 30 every time I ask you for a perception check by seeing what your modifications
Sure.
and stuff are.
Okay.
So the idea is that, again, we're facilitating the bookkeeping of the game,
Sure.
but not the actual playing
I
of the
think
game.
another important thing to note then is what you just said just now is that while you can certainly automate all this rolling and stuff like that, you can still take a dice, roll a dice, and just do it the old-fashioned way and just use this as a reference
Right,
to look up what I'll look up. My perception is -1, roll a dice.
right.
Yeah, cool.
And not everyone will have a tablet at the game table. So the whole design is set around facilitating a gameplay that doesn't require everybody to be
Yeah.
on the same kind of tablet or even on a tablet or even online, just
Sure.
playing with your books. And what we found is people who have no electronic device oftentimes end up borrowing an electronic device. Can I look at this spell? Can I look at this spell? And after a while they realize there's some value in that process.
Yeah.
There was a table yesterday of people playing where the DM said, I'm going to stop looking stuff up. I'm just going to ask the guys with the tablet to look it up for me because it's so much faster to use the search feature to look at
When I've run games for years, I've always done that with books anyway. I won't look stuff up. I'll say, right, can someone look up the grappling rules for me because I can't remember them. And then
Right.
one of the players will do that
Right.
because it is a lot easier to do that. And that lets the DM continue his job, which is running the game, rather than
Right.
sort of like looking at reference books and things
Right,
like that.
but to look up grappling now, you click the icon for search, you click search, you type in grappling, and it goes and finds the grappling rules for you. So now we're in our adventure.
Yeah.
I've described what you see, but I have a picture of that. So I can click on the picture to enlarge it, and I can show you the picture so
Sure.
you see what the mines look like. Oops. You can see what the mines look like. The nice thing is if I want to, I can share that with you.
So you can
So
send
you
that
would have
straight
that,
to my tablet.
you would have it in your adventure
Cool.
log,
Yeah.
so you'd be able to keep track of exactly where you are in the Mines of Madness. And so the idea is, again, we're trying to just facilitate that quick play. So I think the chances of you not going over to the outhouse with the big sign that says "Do not enter" is pretty small. You're going to go over there,
Let's do that.
and you open the door and you look in, and there's this magical light glowing up from the toilet. And you go look in the toilet. All of a sudden, the earth starts to shake, and out comes this giant purple worm.
Wow.
And we go into combat. So combat is actually, again, facilitated by make an initiative roll, and on the tracker, you can either send me your initiative roll and you appear in the tracker, or you can just tell it to me and I'll enter it myself. And at the same time, I'm looking at the giant purple worm here on my screen. I can keep track of all the statistics that are needed there. And so the process of actually being in combat now, when you need that spell, you don't want to see what magic missile does. Instead of having to look it up, you just click on it. All the information's in the tab. You can roll the damage using the dice roller, or you can roll the dice damage using your own dice. And the cool thing is that all the information is right there, so there's no sort of flipping back. What's the saving throw? It's right there. What's this? It's right there. We're not trying to automate the process of running combat, but we're trying to facilitate getting to the fun part.
Yeah, and it sounds
A lot
like people
faster.
can sort of invest in that. I mean, I'm not sure automation is the word, but invest in that automation side to whatever degree they wish.
Right.
So they can just use it as a reference tool.
Right.
And just look up what statistics they need, or they can roll things, or they go further, they can roll and share things.
Right.
And you can escalate that or bring that down to your preferred level of
Mhm.
sort of electronic interactivity.
I like drama.
Drum.
And drama is not me going, oh, I rolled a 20.
Yeah, sure.
Drama is me taking the hundreds of dollars of dice I have
Yeah.
and rolling it out so you can see
Yeah,
it
everyone
bouncing
loves,
across the
yeah,
table.
everyone
So,
loves throwing a handful of d6s.
but at the end of the night, when I have to roll 20 die 10, it sure helps when I can go 20 die 10, done.
Yeah.
And we're off and running.
Yeah,
so
especially,
yeah, again,
if you've got a party of sort of like 30 goblins and you hit them with a fireball,
Right.
you don't necessarily want to do each one individually, do you?
Right.
Manually.
So in the case of many of our lives, we get to play once a month, maybe every other week. A lot of information gets forgotten, and so I've already shared with you the picture, the description.
Yeah.
You've got I'm sharing with you the map of what you've seen so far. So in addition to the pictures, of course, we have the Mines of Madness. The map is here, at whatever level, and maybe I will share with you the first couple of rooms, whatever you've explored.
Right.
So you're able then to know sort of what we've explored. So when you're sitting down that 2 weeks later, what did we do last time? You can very quickly get back to where you want to be.
Yeah.
That information is always there
So
in
does that mean
context.
you can gradually uncover the map for the players?
Right.
Wow, that's very clever. I like that.
Well, I mean, the map is just, there's a DM's version of the map and a player's version.
Yeah.
My map has everything, your map
Doesn't.
doesn't necessarily have everything. But the idea is the same. A lot of us are visually oriented. We can remember a lot better what's happening in an adventure by looking at the map and remembering, oh, yeah, in that room, we did this, in that room, we did
Yeah.
that. So that's facilitating that piece of the adventure. And really, if you think about it, what we've done now is really played into the adventures, the campaigns, and the characters. The one thing that we haven't talked about is the party. So from a party perspective, you may want to go exploring by yourself and send me messages, or you may want to be talking to other people in the party. And so there is a messaging system within the party. If you find some treasure and you're splitting it up and you say, okay, I'm going to take the longsword, rather than me going, okay, it's a longsword plus one, and it has this description, this feature. Again, I just click the magic item, click share, and share it to you. You see it, you accept it, it goes into your inventory, you can use it, and it's there for you to keep. We're not trying to keep people from cheating. we're providing a fast way to get information around.
Okay.
And the DM still has the sort of
Yeah.
adjudication job.
And the control over the game.
We never want people to say, oh, I really wish the app would let me do this. I realize that I'm not supposed to.
Mm.
So as an example, you can go to the store on your character sheet. There's an option to buy.
Mhm.
There's also an option to take.
Yeah.
So if as a DM I say, oh, you find a set of chainmail, you go to the store, you click the chainmail and take it. No gold is deducted and you have the chainmail.
Yeah, so
it allows me the flexibility of putting things in the dungeon on the fly that aren't already pre-programmed into it,
Yeah.
and giving it.
So if I'm sort of a player and I decide I want to roll up some kind of Munchkin-y 15th level mega ranger or something like that, which
Mhm.
technically isn't within the rules, I can still do that if I want to,
Right.
as long as my the tablet doesn't stop me doing that. But
Yeah.
but the GM, that's still the GM's job.
Right.
The GM's job to say no, that's wrong, or
Right.
Yeah.
So as on the character sheet, you can click on your strength and make your strength 25.
Sure,
And everything's
yeah,
changed.
yeah.
As a DM, I can click on your character sheet and go strength at 25,
Yeah.
and it actually shows me that most of that is a user modification.
Yeah,
You know,
right,
and
yeah,
then I know
yeah.
exactly what's
Sure.
happening. So I think with the party screen enabling just enough interaction. You're never going to be typing text messages for everything you're doing, but it's enabling that when it's needed within the gameplay, and by giving us all of this adventure and campaign
Sure.
material sort of on the fly, you very quickly facilitate a much better, more robust experience for people.
So say you send me a private note or something like that. What do I see on my end? Does my tablet just pop up with a
Little red one
Right.
by the party showing
Yeah.
you that you've got a message, and when you click over to the party screen, it will update with all your
And then I can
messages.
see that message.
You can see the message, and within the message text, you can click to respond. You can click to send an item, accept an item, or send an initiative roll or whatever
Sure.
you're being asked for.
Sure. And I presume players can also just exchange items in the same kind of way.
Right.
So if I want to give, I don't know, my longsword +1 to Darren over there,
Right.
I can just do that.
Yep.
And then it comes off my character and it goes onto his
Right.
automatically.
So, yeah, you can do that. You can also, for organized play, you can trade certs. That's
Yeah.
part of the thing. So you're
Yeah.
allowed to trade the certs. Now, organized play, the gold standard is still the paper cert that you get out the thing.
Yeah.
If the DM says, I want to see that you have this, you have to produce
You
your
still
paper
have to
cert.
produce that.
We're really providing it as a way to, track, electronically, but it's not the definitive source.
Sure.
We're not a bank.
Yeah, okay,
And
yeah.
they're the bank keepers of that. But we really wanted to facilitate this inter-party trading as needed.
Sure. Can we just jump to the whole custom content sort of
Sure.
idea? So you had a library there. I don't know if I can call it. Oh, there we go, library. Yeah. So I can see I have a player's handbook here, and that's noted as being free.
Mhm.
I see I have a store here with a couple of adventures there. So I create my own custom content.
Mhm.
So I write an adventure called Russ's Grand Adventure. Does that then appear in my library as
Yep.
as something that I've created? And
Right, it will be in a different color to show that it's player created,
Yeah.
rather than a Wizards of the Coast publication. But yeah, the whole idea with the Forge is, so at the most granular level, you can create monsters, treasure, trap,
Yeah.
maps, all the sort of asset level pieces that you need. So to create a monster, you can either take an existing monster and modify it, or you can start from scratch.
Sure.
And you name it whatever you want to name
Yeah.
it. It appears now in the exact same context as every other monster, except it's in a different color.
so it's noted, and you can see that. It's,
Right.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
share
Yeah.
that. You can share that monster with your friends. And you can then take and use the encounter builder to put together an encounter, add that monster into the encounter, treasure descriptions, the whole thing. You take the encounters, you bundle them together into an adventure, and you take your adventures and you bundle them into campaigns.
And does
And
that
at
all-
that same level, it appears in the right tab.
And that all has the same functionality as the stuff that the official stuff.
Right, so it'll link to the you will be asked to link it to the stat blocks that you
Yeah.
want and stuff. Now, obviously, the links like to the external links and stuff like that will all be manual rather than automated. There won't be an
Yeah.
automated process for it. But through the Forge, you will be able to create your content in a very a very robust way. And, you know, we really want it to be integrated with the WotC content
Yeah.
from the experience of the user playing with
Sure.
the application.
Okay. Is there planned to be some kind of central repository of user content?
Though there already is. I mean, it's all a cloud-based solution.
Oh, I see.
Everything's
So,
stored
so
in the
I
cloud.
can literally go and grab someone else's adventure that they've created.
You can share an adventure with a friend.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, the long term, there's no reason you couldn't put that in the store and monetize it, except that that's not a feature that's currently supported.
Right.
I mean, every adventure is just a SKU.
Mhm.
And I can and right now, all SKUs that you make are private and shareable only with your friends. But
Yeah.
there's no reason that in the future, if Wizards decided they want to go that route,
Sure.
they could turn on
But
the
that's
SKUs
something
for
easy for you to do
monetization.
then. If-
We've built that in. We
Yeah.
built SKUs down to the item level. So we could theoretically sell, I want to buy a dagger.
Well, you want individual items,
8
yeah.
cents for it, you know.
Oh,
you know,
microtransactions, yeah.
You know, so that would be microtransactions. So
Yeah.
we're not going to go to that level of sort of absurdity, but I think the thing is that we built it that way.
Sure.
So that we have complete flexibility over how things get bundled
Yeah.
and put together.
So whatever Wizards decide to do, you're pretty much prepared to handle that.
Right,
Yeah.
that was the goal of the exercise. And, you know, I think it's a tool that a lot of creatives are gonna want to start, you know, putting their worlds, their campaigns, their
absolutely, yeah,
life's
yeah.
work into.
Yeah.
And at some point, those are probably good enough for the general public. So
Yeah.
if they can submit it to eventually be considered for publication, why not? That's
Well, I think that's probably the question that I've seen tweeted or posted or
Mhm.
most. It's all been about the custom content is the question that keeps coming up. So I think you're right, that is definitely going to be a very, very popular feature if that, depending
Right.
on what Wizards decide to do and how that.
Well, I mean, it's a huge task if you think about having to curate other people's content.
Sure.
And they are, you know, do have a limited bandwidth to be able to do that. But
Yeah.
I think that if you look at, you know, some of the great adventures and stuff, that's exactly how they've come about. People have been, you know, sort of fans have created wonderful content and eventually gets absorbed.
So if I was playing online
Mhm.
with people across the world, for example, could I? And we're all using DungeonScape. Can we still do that?
Yes.
We don't have to. I mean, theoretically, we don't have to be in the same room, do we? We could, like, you could be sitting in
When
the US.
I
could
send
be in
something
the
to
UK.
you, it goes up to the cloud and comes back
Yeah.
out.
So okay. So I could still sort of create content and share it with you, despite the fact that you're on the opposite side of the world.
Right.
Yeah. Of course. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's not designed, I mean, the primary design isn't to be a, you know, virtual tabletop game.
Yeah.
It is really to facilitate face-to-face play, but there is no technical limitations to playing the game across the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. Now, assuming someone has a virtual tabletop separately, you could then use the app just to track your character
Right.
and run the adventure.
Yep.
Simple. That sounds wonderful.
One of the requests we're seeing a lot from people here at the show has been for 2-monitor support, which is not supported as a, you know, separate monitor for presenting
I imagine it could be very
information.
useful if I'm running a game for you and for all of you, say, and I could just throw something up there and just leave it there
Mhm.
while I carry on doing other stuff here. That could
Right.
be very, very useful, I imagine. Say a picture of a monster or a small map or a note
Right.
or something, so everyone can see it at the same time.
Right,
And it's not necessarily mirroring what I'm doing because I'm doing something else.
right. Well, and of course, you can always just share that image.
Yeah, of
And then
course.
they already
That's
have
it.
it in line
Yeah.
in their adventure content.
I was thinking more about what you were saying earlier about some people not necessarily having like a tablet or so forth.
Yep.
So
Yep.
being able to do that could be quite fun.
And there's a lot of new things that we're working on for releases. So, you were asking about the pricing and stuff. You know, one of the things that we have is this concept of accessories. You don't like the color of the dice, buy different colored dice. But a couple of things are I think, going to be big hits with people. Sound effects.
Okay.
So integrating sound effects, you can do that as a sort of microtransaction, and now you've got your creaky doors and stuff. And the way I use it in my campaign is when I'm reading along and I get to that point, everybody rolls. The person who gets the high roll, I adjust the volume to sort of how well they did and hold it up to their ear and let them hear it. I'm no longer describing.
Mm.
Someone else is having to describe what they hear.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the desire to be the person who wins the role, to hear the sound, becomes inordinately high. Now, I'm going to use my special features just to win this dice roll because I want to win.
You're speaking like someone who's done this then,
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
it? And
yeah.
it's
And it's fun. It adds a little bit to the game. It's not a huge game changer, but
Yeah.
all these little things really add in. So the idea of taking and really leveraging the power of the tablet
Sure, yeah,
is an
yeah.
incredibly important
What
thing.
about some general background ambient sound, things like that?
You could. There's no reason you couldn't do that. I tend not to have ambient background sound
Yeah.
going, but yeah, that's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got a tablet, so you could always have background sound playing out of
Of
it.
course, yeah,
I think the features will be driven by what people want.
Mm.
And if you don't like the brown color that we have in this, we'll be having new skins coming out that you can have a
Mm.
bright blue,
Yeah.
sorcerer skin to your app. So we really want it to be a really customizable experience. And like you said earlier, you can take and make the character sheet exactly what you want it to make.
Mm. Oh, I did like that
We
functionality.
can't
That was-
make a character sheet that will please everyone.
Mm.
So we'll let you make your own character sheet. Now, we found early on in the process when we gave people the ultimate flexibility to move every field around, it became a nightmare
Right.
because people were losing stuff very, very quickly. And so ultimate flexibility gives you ultimate complexity.
Mm.
And so we had to scale that back and say, okay, here are the widgets that
Sure.
have this information. Move the widgets where you want to, make them the size you want to, but we're going to keep all the information in the widget.
Yeah,
as that.
yeah.
So, it's been a process of figuring out what the customers can really deal with and sort of what they want. So,
What's the sort of rollout plan then?
the what?
The rollout plan. I think the other day you mentioned it's going to be as soon as a few weeks, did you?
Yes, so we're going to be doing it as the player's release, which will be the characters' home and library screens. That'll let you roll characters,
Yeah.
do your character maintenance, and pretty much do anything that you would normally do through sort of the player's handbook, if you will. Then we're going to be doing a DM's rollout, which is adventurers, campaigns, and parties. That'll let you, as a DM, grab all the content, both at the adventure level, the campaign level, all the party sharing and stuff like that. And then the Forge will be the last of the three.
Sure.
The three scenes. We're doing it on iOS as our lead device, then we'll be doing Android and web following, and we hope to have everything out by the end of the year.
That quickly?
And we have, obviously you're looking at an iOS version that's pretty far along,
Yeah.
so we're getting close to being able to put something out there.
So between the various platforms, just going to be staggered as.
Yeah, as we finish them, so.
Yeah. Fantastic.
The Apple submission process is delightful.
Yeah, you mentioned that the other
So,
day. So I've actually submitted an app to the probably much more simple app than this, but I've done that myself, and yeah, I can appreciate that that's not an awful lot of fun.
So that. Even once we submit, Evan and I have a background in mobile games, so we know that unless you know somebody to kind of grease the wheel back at Apple, that process can take anywhere from 10 to 14 business days.
Yeah.
Even if they find a mistake or something that they have to send it back to you, then you have to fix it and
Yeah.
submit it, and it's trying. So.
Yeah. Fortunately, you don't have to do all that with the Android version.
Oh
do
no, you just ship it.
Yeah.
This looks good. Go for it.
So you've been running games, well not games, but demos all week.
Yes.
And I've seen you guys there in the D&D area. You've got tables of people sitting around
Yeah.
tables playing games. How's the feedback been? People do seem to be enjoying it from what I've seen.
Yeah, I think the feedback has been really good, and it's such a enthusiastic and opinionated community. So as Chris was mentioning, we're never going to be able to have a character sheet layout that's going to please everybody.
Yeah.
And, we had that one guy that said, I need to have my speed on my backgrounds tab, and why did you do this, and why did you do that? So there's always going to be people that have a better idea than you.
Sure.
But the more time that people spend with us and get to know us, we get to know them, and we can just talk to them and tell them what's going on, they've been really receptive of it. So we're hoping to continue that and really involve feedback, involve ideas, involve the community, and hopefully build up our own community around the application. And I've got a lot of cool ideas about how to make our users power users and help them out and kind of reward them along the way. We have that whole badges section in the home screen, and there's no reason why we can't create like super user badges or customer support heroes that are really nice to us whenever they email us at 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday when we'll be working. So, you know, our approach to that is to just be as inclusive as possible, because that is, to me, that is a successful product. When you have a product that people care about, it's fully supported by the team that's making it. We're not going to outsource our customer support. We're not going to outsource our community or anything like that. So.
How many people do you guys have?
2.5.
2.5?
But everyone on the team is kind of doing all of the things right now.
Right.
So Evan is wearing about 17 different hats. Chris, I think 25 or 30. So we're all pitching in. We're all doing our part, and I have a very strong intention and desire to have all of our new members that come onto the Trapdoor Tech team. They get to spend some time in customer support and answer emails and see what's going on. It's invaluable to have, especially developers and engineers and programmers, in the support queue and reading what the issues are.
Sure,
I swear I'm not making it up when I say this is really an issue. People really care about this. So we plan to have that going moving forward. It's going to be hilarious, but it's awesome to have that.
So you mentioned that you have had quite a lot of feedback, and I presume that a lot of that feedback you have taken and sort of put into the process already. I mean,
Yes.
how much has that taken place? How much of that has there been?
There's actually been quite a bit of it. If you're in the iOS beta right now, which is it's about 100 people, and it was a rollout of our alpha testers, a lot of Wizards provided folks, and some of our Origins pre-beta testers. So they're in the app right now, and they've been in there about 2 or 3 weeks. And part of our customer support software, you don't have to ever leave the application to give feedback.
Right.
So you just tap on your gearbox, you tap, we're here to help, and from there you can either send us an email.
Here to help.
Here to help. And you can see our feedback forum, so that's where our users are in there giving ideas. And then you can also see our knowledge base, which is, we have all of the release notes from every single build, so you know that's a bug. If you read it, you know. If you don't read it, then you probably send us an email, and then we tell you to go read it.
Yeah, okay.
But, so we'll have all of that there. So we've actually had a lot of ideas come in through the feedback forums. So it's a single sign-on. I don't have to sign into the customer support software. I'm signed into the app. I can just go right there, submit an email, and submit an idea. And then if I say, I want there to be a chat window on the Adventures tab, I can put that idea in there, and then everybody else who comes to the feedback forums can either comment on that, they can vote on it, and once we get to a certain number of votes, then we take that feedback in, and it goes into a big loop. And we started doing a call. So we do a Friday go-to-meeting call. Anybody can jump on the call. We give you the access number, and we'll talk about the top 5 feedback items, or the top 5 bugs, or whatever it is. And then you have that interaction, that personal interaction, where you've been in your head all week about this thing that you're desperately passionate about. You get to talk to Chris or Evan or me or one of the people from the team, and Chris can either talk you down off the ledge, or we can say, that is a great idea. Or we can say, that is a great idea, and here's why it's not implemented yet. Or here's how we're thinking about implementing it differently. And that just solves so many customer frustrations. It solves so many interaction issues for us.
You could give me maybe an example of a change or a feature or something that's arisen through the process of player feedback.
So we actually, there's one thing, in 5th edition there's the disadvantage and advantage roles.
Yeah.
So we kind of didn't really think about that going forward. And so we had a lot of feedback items about that once we let people into the iOS beta, and it quickly got voted up to the top of the pile. This is a really cool feature of 5th edition. Why isn't it in the app? So right now, we're building it into
Yeah,
the app.
so you-
So that's going to be involved in the dice roller somehow that you can roll for advantage and disadvantage.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this, and I mentioned this a little earlier. So I'm seeing my shelf here. I'm seeing Player's Handbook with the with free next to it. Does that mean everyone gets a copy of the Player's Handbook with the app?
So, haha, pricing questions sneaking
That
in
is a
here.
pricing
I
question
see.
sneaking in there, yeah.
So there will be some content that's available for free. The app is going to be free to download, and there will be enough content involved in that free download for players to really get a taste of what's going on.
Right.
So there will be, I'm kind of thinking of it as there will be kind of the starter set or the basic D&D available inside the app.
Right.
Now there's a few things that we have to include in terms of the application and the programming and all that stuff that is slightly different than what you'll find in the basic starter set or basic D&D. But there will be enough interactivity between the player's handbook and what you can roll up in terms of characters to be able to do everything that you need to do. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So you're not going to have full access to the player's handbook for free, but you will have access to the parts of the player's handbook that you need in order to roll characters up to a certain point, play them to a certain level, and really experience the app.
So yes, the analogy is the starter set, as you just mentioned.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the D&D basic game, which is free online already, and
Yes.
that's what levels 1 to 20 and 4 races and 4 classes.
4 or 5 races and classes. So it'll be slightly different than that,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich of the starter set and basic D&D with a little bit extra.
Right. And so additional content as that comes in, so the Monster Manual comes out, or the DMG comes out, or Wizards produce an adventure next year, or something down the line. All that is going to be stuff that people can then sort of purchase from within the app. Do you have any idea of the sort of pricing we're looking at?
I don't know I don't think it's been finalized.
Right.
So there's been a lot of discussion about that between our team and their team, obviously, and we want to make it as accessible as we can, but we also understand that we're officially partnered with them, and
Sure, yeah.
they get to kind of call the shots there. But we've been able to provide a lot of excellent feedback, and I think what we're coming out with is going to be highly workable for everyone.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a lot of budget to do digital stuff, and you're just a player and you don't need to buy the adventure, you don't need to buy the campaign, you're not going to create your own content, you can literally, so I'm thinking about me personally, I maybe play once or twice a month. I've got my character, I've got 2 kinds of character that I like to play. I can just play that character. I don't have to buy everything that my DM buys. I don't have to buy the monster manual. I don't have to get all that stuff.
Just like with books. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know it's kind of negative. Is it helpful at all?
yeah. No, I mean, one of the questions that I do see come up quite frequently is the issue of content ownership. So if I buy an adventure or a source book or something via the app, do I have to remain subscribed to access that content, or is that mine forever?
That is yours forever.
Right, so I've got that permanently on the app.
Yes, you do.
I've got the app.
You've got it on your tablet. You can get it on your desktop. You can have it on your Android device.
Fantastic.
and
I think
hopefully-
that's something that people that keep asking. So I think it's great.
It's a very important piece for us. We never ever will take anything away from you.
Yeah.
Even if you never spend any money with us ever again, you'll always have access to it.
Great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You mentioned some of the sort of rollout plans in. I think you said by the end of the year was your plan. So what's the sort of stages and what sort of dates? So I understand this is all if.
An if.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
a big,
sorry,
it's
I'm
a
not
big
gonna-
cloud.
Not taking this as a promise whatsoever, but what can
Yeah.
you sort of roughly expect in terms of stages?
So in terms of stages, the first stage is the player's release, and like we were talking just when I came up here, that is going to depend on the Apple submission process to a certain degree.
But is that basically ready to go, isn't it?
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
There are a few other things. Obviously, the Gen Con push has been a huge push for the entire team. So we're here, but we have some people locked in Chris's basement at home coding furiously. And they are hard at work, and we're going to submit as soon as we can.
Right. Okay.
And the other promise that we can make is that we'll tell you. when we've submitted stuff, we're gonna tell you how it's going. So if you follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook or send us an email, support@trapdoortechnologies.com. It's a mouthful and you'll probably...
I'll pop this up on the...
So we're available. Like if you connect with us, we are happy to connect with you and we will let you know how everything is going.
I think your community interaction is something that I have noticed. And
Cool.
I really, and not just me, I mean everyone has, but I really do think you guys are making a big effort on social media, on forums. It's all over the place. Whenever I've emailed you, you've always answered quickly. You've answered people's questions on forums.
Mhm.
Talk to people on Twitter all the time. I think that's great that you're doing
Yeah.
that, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, we definitely want to be clear and succinct and honest in our communication, as transparent as we can be. Of course, it's obvious the things that we can't quite talk about,
Yeah.
and once we're able to, we will shout it from the proverbial mountaintops.
Yeah.
So the players release will be first. We have our beta signups as well, and that's for web and Android. And we've had people sign up for the beta. We had 3,000 people sign up in the first 24 hours
Wow.
of announcing the beta. So we were overwhelmed, overjoyed, really excited about the response, and we've got people just ready to
Yeah.
get in there
Yeah.
and tell us how they
Chomping
feel.
at the bit. Yeah.
And it's important for us to try and get the Apple release happening and also get our beta
Yeah,
testers in,
yeah.
because we want them to experience the product as beta testers.
Yeah.
I have something that you don't have. That's cool. We want you to have that. So once we get back tomorrow, we'll be working on getting those things submitted out to the public.
Sure.
And hopefully that happens within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then the subsequent releases, the DM's release and the Forge release, will all roll out by the end of 2014. And, not like quick succession, but as soon as
Yeah.
they're ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's another great thing, that the community's response has been positive in terms of, I want all these things, but I really want you to do it right. So if you need to take some more time, guys, I'm giving you the go-ahead. So that's been nice.
Have you had any negative response that you struggle to deal with?
Reddit scares me a little bit. But even the Reddit community of D&D has been great, and it's a big community there. So I've been there to some degree, and it's fun because we'll find another forum or we'll find another outlet for community and that we haven't touched or that we haven't been involved with yet, and you kind of jump in there and you read the threads. It's like, oh God, do I want to go? Okay, we're gonna go. But it's really great. As soon as the community members see somebody it's me, and I'm communicating with them, they can ask questions and get answers. It just clears up the fog really quickly.
Yeah. I think people just appreciate it, even if they
Yeah.
don't get an answer to their question. The fact that someone's turned up and said, I can't answer that question, but I am still here. I'm still paying attention. I think that really makes a difference to people. That kind of ivory tower kind of.
Yeah, I'm sure you know all about that.
Yeah.
Having run a community for so long, it's very cool, and your community members can be your greatest assets, your greatest ambassadors for your product, for your project, for whatever it is. And we really want to have people like that rise to the top and reward them however we're able to. Whether it's in-app badges, whether it's hey, everybody come to Colorado, play a game with us for a weekend. We definitely want to have that kind of involvement with the community. But yes, there have been a few scary things. And I'm a new to D&D player. I come from a video game background, so it took me quite a while, and I'm still I'm not completely green, but I'm like between green and yellow. I don't know. I'm like I don't know what all the abbreviations for everything is. So I got an email once that had about 17 different abbreviations. PHB, STR, DEX, CHR, A, NT,
I made some of those up.
Well. So that's been a crash course for me, but you learn
Well, I
quickly.
presume you get the same sort of thing in video games, though, don't you?
You do.
Exactly the same
You do.
thing. Don't you?
And well, it's kind of cool because D&D kind of paved the way for all of the stuff that happens in video games, like all the archetypes from D&D are
Sure,
in video
yeah,
games,
yeah.
all of the leveling, all of the. So that's been very cool for me too. It's like, oh my god, I know where all this came from now. This is so cool. So I think I am sometimes afraid that the people that are emailing me and that I'm communicating with kind of can see that I don't know I don't know what all of that means yet, and I'm reading, I'm Googling. So I have had a few slip-ups, like,
Right.
well, I'd answer a question, and then I get because D&D players know exactly what they're talking about all the time, and I get the response back, like, actually, no, Rachel, that's this.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was I was talking to. It was one of the Wizards developers, I believe, and he was saying about how awkward it can be when your customer knows your product better than you do, and that people can always see that as well. But I think as long as you see it up front, it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, you just told me you're new to D&D, and that's cool. That's fine.
I am a Cylon, but I don't know all of everything about D&D yet.
Yet. Yeah.
I will. Though.
We'll get the chip implanted a bit later.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'm guessing you've probably had to have this conversation, dozens of times now. Is it?
Yeah, but the thing that I keep saying is it's really easy. I mean, the project, DungeonScape itself is such an easy thing to demo and to talk about, and especially at a place here like at Gen Con, everybody's here to game, and they're your target market. They're everyone that you want to know about your app is here, and it makes it really easy to talk about.
Yeah.
And people are so excited. I mean, it's fun to see where the light bulb goes off of like, oh my god, I totally want to use that. And it's if it's a DM, it's where I can share a map with somebody, or as a player, it's like, oh, my spells are all right here. Yeah. Just tap your spell. So that's been really cool to see how people get excited and what parts they get excited about.
Do you have any sort of resistance or pushback based on perhaps sort of not your past history, but Wizards' past history with electronic tools?
Oh yeah, we've had a lot of skepticism and doubt. A lot of the tweets say I'm excited, but I'm still really pessimistic.
So how do you deal with that?
I think we understand where they're coming from, so it's easy to say, yeah, we don't want you to make a decision either until you have it in your hands and you've played with it, which is why it was so important for us to involve some free content so that they can make the choice. They don't have to subscribe, they don't have to pay, they don't have to do that if they don't want to do that. But like Chris said, you have the guy who wants to play paper and pen, and halfway through the adventure he's like, well, what are you doing over there?
Actually, yeah.
That's kind of cool. And I think that people who feel that they've been burned by the past tools have that's fine that they feel that way. Will we be able to prove them wrong? Hopefully, but if we don't, that's okay too. We just want people to have fun.
Yeah.
We want people to be able to get into the game, spend more time hanging out with their friends and role playing than looking up rules, and hopefully there'll be more beer drinking too. So that's always good. Maybe we can add that into the app somehow. You get a
Beer
badge
drinking
for
into
beer
the app.
drinking. I don't know.
Interesting.
Something.
All right.
Ev, will you toss me one of the coins? So we have these coins made for Origins, so I brought one for you.
Oh wow. Thank you.
And these are really awesome, our little piece of swag. And for any of you that haven't figured it out yet, yeah, it's got some nice weight to it.
Yeah.
We find ourselves just kind of flipping them, and they're a really good fidget toy as well.
Yeah.
So these were a limited edition run of coins that we made for Origins.
Yeah.
And everyone who came and played the app and used the app for an adventure, everyone who died by Chris's hands and the giant purple worm, there were many deaths. they got a coin, and on the back of the coin, you can see there's a little code at the very bottom.
I can see that, yes.
So this code, you can go to your home screen on the app, you can tap into the badges and certifications, you can enter that code, and then you get this really cool Origins badge.
And that appears on your...
Yes. So the other thing, I think we should finally announce it because there's been only one user, our friend Robert, who has figured out that the code actually is a secret Easter egg. It means something special and nobody has figured it out yet. So
Is it the same on every one?
no.
So this is a different one?
Well, all of the Origins coins have the same code.
Right, okay.
So everyone has this
So
code.
can I say this aloud? Is it?
You
Was it a
can.
secret? So we've got DU103071.
Yes.
I can't think what that might mean.
Well, maybe it'll keep you up at night. Like, we're hoping it'll keep everybody else up at night at this point, as Chris Matney over there, ha ha ha.
But someone has figured it out.
No, it's his brainchild, and nobody has figured it out yet.
Right, okay. All right.
So we implore you
It's been
to
driving me nuts.
Oh, you don't know either?
we don't
No?
know. Nobody knows.
Only you?
The secret dies with me. So,
Wow, okay. But this is something that can be figured out.
oh yeah.
It's not just in your head.
You'll know exactly
Yeah,
what
okay.
it is when you figure it out.
Yes. So we had a very terrifying run-in with some owlbears, and our swag for Gen Con didn't make it here. So I've been collecting everyone's information, and if you came and talked to us while we were at DungeonScape, we had you sign our guest book, so we've
Right.
got your information, and you will be getting something awesome in the mail.
I do like awesome.
I know, and collecting
They're the
things.
best things, awesome things.
So, and there will be another secret puzzle on the back of the next coin. So, I'll leave you with that.
Fantastic.
And I'm out. Let's go, before they figure it out.
Well, if you don't even know what it is, I don't think I have much chance of guessing.
Well, I think it's D&D related.
Oh, right, okay.
It's not like something totally
It's like your mum's address, isn't it?
No.